Hey, remember FTL? Did you like it? Well, what if I told you there's a game like it, but kinda different? Welcome to Taking It Offline, where I recommend games for busy people. My name is Ian, and today we're talking about Crying Suns. It's a space odyssey. Crying Suns is a roguelike strategy game where you take on the role of Space Admiral Ellis Idaho, not to be confused with the state nor with Duncan. Admiral Idaho serves a galactic empire which collapsed years ago, again not to be confused with the other major galactic empires you might be familiar with. Here's the issue though, Idaho just woke up in a top secret cloning facility, has no idea what's going on, and all he's got is an Omni with him. Now granted, Omnis are great, they're the machines that helped the empire for years before they mysteriously shut down and plummeted the universe into chaos. You know, kind of like if the chairs in WALL-E stopped working. Now seated once more at the helm of his ship, the USS Odysseus, Admiral Idaho sets forth to repower the Omnis, save the Empire, and evade a plethora of enemies along the way. At the top level, Crying Suns plays a lot like FTL in that you're going to be jumping from sector to sector, encountering zealotous church ships, abandoned space stations, and of course quirky space citizens. Each sector is a self-contained chapter of the story and is chock full of various events for you to take part in. Maybe you'll deploy commandos on surface missions, make hard decisions about who you will and won't help, and of course you're gonna engage in ship battle. For battle, imagine if you took the individual ship versus ship combat from FTL and then inflated it to a bigger scale. After all, admirals don't fly fighters. The combating flagships will deploy various squadrons of ships to fight against each other, all while firing massive weapons at each other. The one-sentence summary is this. You're the captain of a massive warship called the USS Odysseus, making your way back to your own Ithaca and experiencing your own epic tale along the way. With all the background out of the way, let's talk about the reasons why this spacefaring adventure is good for busy people. First of all, it can be played with one hand. Second of all, it's got a shallow learning curve. And third, it won't raise your blood pressure after a session. So let's dig more into those three things after I suggest that you subscribe to me if you enjoy this video. Now, it can be tiresome to have your hands full on a computer, especially if you've got a desk job or another career that keeps you doing things like full-time juggling. Well, guess what? This game's completely playable with a single hand. Of course, that's kind of an obtuse way to say it. This game is so simple to interact with, you won't need to memorize key bindings and QuickTime events. In fact, most of the game takes place looking out the bridge of your ship and interacting with menus. With a single hand on a mouse, you can select your next destination, respond to dialogue, and even deploy ships onto the field of battle. As a busy person, that's nice because it means you won't be glued to your mouse and keyboard. You've got a whole hand free for sipping coffee, scrolling your phone, playing a second version of the game on your phone, that thing Captain Barbossa does with a coin in Pirates of the Caribbean, or even holding a child, assuming you take some basic precautions. That's a great detail for people who just want to kick back and relax. Next up, the game's got a shallow learning curve. Anything you need to know, the game will tell you when you need to know it. With the caveat of combat, you're always going to have ample time to make your next choice. And if you've taken a break for a while, you can come back and take as much time as you need to make those choices that you'll need to make. So if you need to stand up to take a break, the Odysseus won't be blown up by the time you get back, any cutscenes will not have progressed, and you're free to pick up where you left off. It's one of those little details that makes Crying Suns a great game for a Saturday morning coffee break or an evening tea and games before bed break. Finally, Crying Suns isn't going to run up your blood pressure. Yeah, it's a confrontational game filled with high-stake options, like whether or not you should arrest the dude making gut rot out of ship fuel, but it doesn't feel like every choice is life or death. Half of it's because the character is going to just get rebirthed in a cloning facility if you mess up, but the other half is the way the game carries itself. The music and ambiance gives you space, no pun intended, and the deliberate pacing of the gameplay evokes giving commands from the helm of a massive flagship, while the simple but flavorful mechanics of the game really make it stand out in a field of FTL-inspired games. Crying Suns is an oddly relaxing celestial combat experience. I really enjoyed feeling like the commander of a huge ship with hundreds of crew members that I'm responsible for, flying around the galaxy deploying specialists to people who need help. The art style is unique, mostly being displayed in a Mystery Science Theater-esque experience of your officers on the bridge, and the fact that it can be played easily, learned easily, and easy on your psyche are all reasons that I recommend it for busy people. All in all, I give Crying Suns 5 gruff galactic commandos out of 5 gruff galactic commandos. Highly recommended.